The overarching goal is a very basic statement, right? When you start the overarching goal process, it's very basic. So I was curious, what made you want to, what was it about let's say you guys sent out an ad or whatever, right? So what was it about my ad that attracted your attention today, right? A lot of you guys send out flyers, mailers, door knocks, right? I was curious when we were talking at the open house, what was it that I guess made you want to book in this longer meeting with me today? When we were talking over the phone, right? Let's say you're circle prospecting. Hey, when we were talking over the phone yesterday, what was it that made you want to book in this meeting with me today? Who booked the appointment, everybody? Who booked the appointment? This is very important. Who booked the appointment? The seller booked in the appointment. They booked. I can tell my clients. They did. Y'all, like, if you guys are falling asleep, like, do we need to do a little pump up? Because my coffee just kicked in. I'm good for 9 hours. They booked in the appointment with you. You asked, but they agreed, right? Ladies, when a gentleman asks you on a date, you agree to the date. You agree to the date. No, nobody can force you to go on a date with some random person, correct? They booked in the appointment with you, right? So let's say they say something like, let's just role play this. Who wants to role play with me? Who wants to come up and do a little role play? Somebody come up and do a role play. Somebody raise your hand. Oh, perfect. Eric
I'm
Morris.
in.
Eric Morris. Let's go. So, Eric, you still with me?
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, brother. So, hey, man, I guess I was curious, what was it about my ad that attracted your attention? I mean, like, what made you kind of want to book in this longer meeting with me today?
Well, I just, your ad was kind of appealing, so I would had been thinking about selling my house, and so I saw your ad and just you look like maybe you might be an honest person, so thought I'd give you a shot.
Looks can be deceiving, man. Tell me a little bit more about what's going on in your world.
Well, I've got this house that gotten a little bit small for me now, and I need to get a little bit more space.
How do you mean by small?
Well, it's about 1,200 square feet, and I have two kids now, and it's a three-bedroom, and I also work at home, so I, don't really have any, quiet area where I can kind of work, and concentrate, and don't have much of a yard, and kids wanted a daggone dog, so we've got this big ass dog now. So just need a little bit more.
Pause. Do you guys see the notes that I'm writing down? Here, let's stop sharing. All this technology, and we still have to go through all this crap. All this technology, and we still got to go through all this crap. Oops, that's the wrong way. All right. You guys see the notes?
Hmm.
Now, all I said to him was what? What did I say to him?
Tell
What
me
did I
about your
say to him?
world. Tell me about your world. How do you mean by small?
Right. And what did he do?
Well, he gave you a full rundown of his world and the reason why he wants to consider either renting or purchasing a home.
We don't know what he's doing yet.
Yes.
We don't know what he wants to do yet. We don't know if he wants to rent. We don't know if he wants to purchase. We don't know if he wants to move into a field. But what did we get right here?
A list of needs.
Motivation.
Oh,
Information.
We just write a little bit of pain,
Pain.
right? A little bit of pain. Anybody want some chocolate covered coffee beans? Now, our job is to figure out what as salespeople.
How to take that pain away.
how to take that pain away. I want to make that pain get big first. So I want to know what's the most painful. So we have 2 kids. We work from home. He said there's no quiet space. You guys remember him saying that? Eric, were those your exact words? No quiet space?
Those were my exact words. Yep.
Exact words. Why do exact words matter?
Shows you're really listening for one.
Shows you're really listening for one. Okay, what else? 3 bed, no yard, big ass dog. So what do we need to do with all this?
Regurgitate what he needs back to him.
I'm not going to regurgitate it. Because what do
Well-
average salespeople do?
Like if you're looking for a home, like when you get to that process, this is what I mean by that. Let me clarify that. When you get to that process and you've already closed him and you're looking for a home or something that fits those needs.
Wait. We're 4 minutes. We're not even 4 minutes into a conversation with this man at his house. We got to slow it down here.
Save it for later to emphasize his pain.
I want to go deep.
You probe and clarify.
We need to probe and clarify, ladies and gentlemen. So, what part do you think I'm going to probe and clarify in the chat? What part do you think I'm going to probe and clarify on this pain?
Kids.
In the chat, everybody. So some of you guys say, a lot of you guys say quiet space. A lot of you guys say the dog. Now remember, are you coming from where your pain is, or are you coming from where the prospect's pain is? How do you know what's important? How do you know what's important? Radhi, that's the best. Radhi just nailed it, right? You ask, but you also can listen to what? Right? You can also listen to what?
Their tone.
Their emotion, how they say things, their pace. Big ass dog. And there's also a big ass dog. Now, I don't know if that was the most important thing. So here's what I'm going to do, right? Here's what I'm going to do. You could do a 1-word probe, or you could just do okay. So if I want to do a 1-word probe, Eric, space. Where'd you go, Eric? I lost you. You're on mute.
When did I do that? Yeah, it's getting crowded in here, and I really need, space for the kids, but mainly space for me to have my home office.
Okay. What's the most important thing? What does he need space for right now? Did
Sanity.
he talk? You're making an assumption. That's an assumption. What does he need space for? Now, y'all have the script. I'm giving you the goods. Y'all don't need to overthink this, all right? I'm going to give you the goods. You have the goods. You have the goods. Watch this. Hey, Eric,
Yeah.
is there a reason that this has become more of a priority for you now, my man?
Well, it's been going on for about a year, and so I'm just tired of it. It's slowing me down work-wise as far as the office. The kids are getting bigger and they're taking up more space and they're making more noise, and they really want to go outside, and there's not enough space outside for them to hang out and do stuff.
Okay. Do you guys see how we got more information? Do you guys see how we got more information? Some of you think that this is enough. It's not. These are just statistics. These are just statistics. Okay. How long has it been going on for in the chat? This is listening. How long has it been going on for in the chat? Everybody. Y'all, I don't know what you're doing over there, but I need to see 103 responses. I can see your hands not moving, people. I'm watching you. There's 103 in you. There's 51 cameras off right now. What are y'all doing? One year's 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. He said for about a year now. Been going on for about a year now. He told us. So if you ask how long has this been going on for, you need to add in a clarifier. So has it been a year that the noise has been up? Has it been a year that the kids have been wanting to play more outside? Has it been a year that you've been feeling more frustrated, not been able to get the job that you need done at work? What's been going on for 1 year? Because remember, look at all the things that he hit us with, right? Did he hit us with a lot of stuff? And so we need to clarify what's going, right? So Eric, when you say a year it's been going on for, what do you mean? Like a year for work, a year the kids have been wanting to go outside? Like how old are these kids? How many you got? I
Two
think you said
kids,
2 kids, right?
2 kids.
Okay. And how old are they?
One's 7, one's 9.
Oh, boys, girls?
2 boys.
Two boys.
Starting to tear up my house.
How long they been tearing up the house for?
At least 6 months.
That's it? I would imagine a 7 and a 9-year-old with a big ass dog been tearing up that house since day one.
No, we just got the damn dog.
Doesn't sound like you're too excited. Is it a damn dog because we got a small house, or is it just a damn dog because it's a damn dog?
Both. Damn dog because it's a small house, and damn dog because it's a big dog that shits a lot.
Okay. So if you had a bigger yard where the dog could go out and like do its due business, would that make your life any different?
It would, because I could send the kids out there to clean it up.
Who cleans it up now?
It ends
What,
up
what do
being
you,
me, because we have to
do you
walk
mean?
the dog.
Are you telling me that the dog shits in the living room, or where's the dog? Like,
And
what's
I gotta
going on
take
over there?
I gotta take the dog out, like put him on a leash,
Where?
take him out, and I gotta pick it up off the street, so
So right now, with all of the commotion at home, the kids, the yard, the big ass dog, and all the different things that are going on, in the middle of the day, if the dog needs to go, you got to walk the dog down the road and for it to do its business, middle of your workday.
middle of my workday, sometimes in the middle of a meeting.
Oh, now you guys, if you look at my 3 favorite questions, watch this. Does that have any like impact on your work or your life, your kind of living situation, man?
Yeah, for work, it's like slowing me down and it's kind of frustrating. I can't get as much done during the day, then I end up working later at night. So it's gotten really, it's kind of wearing me down.
How long has that been going on for?
Like six
Like,
months, I got the damn dog.
okay. And so how's that having like how's that having like impact on you personally, man? Like you having to stay up late, you having to, walk the dog mid-meeting. I mean, what do you tell your boss or what do you tell the prospect or like, your other end of the conversation? It's like, hey, I gotta pause this, I gotta take the dog out for a shit.
Well, I'd make some sort of other excuse, but yeah, I try to hurry up and do it. But yeah, it's just gotten really annoying and it's made me less productive and just frustrated. I'm more tired. I get up more tired because I end up
Mm,
sitting up later at night trying to get my work done after my wife
mm.
gets home and can kind of cover all the other stuff. And yeah, I'm
If
over
nothing, yeah, sounds like you guys should stay put, man. If nothing else
it. What, are you
changes,
shitting me? This is not gonna work.
I mean, if you don't like it, I mean, I'm just here to help, man. So if nothing changes, right? Like, what kind of impact or what kind of ramifications do you feel like that's going to have on you guys? Because I mean, the dog's going to get bigger, and then you don't have to take it out for a walk as much, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this can't keep going on. Something's gotta give. So
Okay.
yeah, we just gotta have the more space.
Okay.
Can't put it off.
Okay.
Been putting
Everybody
it off
give
for
everybody
6 months.
give Eric a round of applause. And let's give Eric a big round of applause here. Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely.
What did you guys notice? What did you guys notice? Conversation, frustration, ease, motivation, lots of pain, good probing. How many of you guys think that by me trying to kick Eric out, right? How many of you guys think that me trying to like, Eric, dude, the dog's gonna get bigger. Why don't you guys just stay put? Who remembers selling the no from the summit? Who remembers selling the no from the summit? Did you hear him drop? He's like, stay put. He didn't even know what to say. Words couldn't even come out of his mouth. He could even put the irritation, right? He could even put the irritation, right? Did you guys also watch how I tried to pick up on keywords? Right? Did you guys see the keywords that we're trying to pick up on? I'm not putting it into my subcategory of words and changing him. Blue or gold, I don't give a flying fuck about the color of the dress. You know what I care about? What color you think the dress is. I don't, I'm not trying to convince you all that I saw blue, you saw gold, you heard Yanny, I heard Laurel. Who cares about that? But as salespeople, do we try to steer the conversation? If they see gold, it's gold. I don't care what you guys think. You're not going to change somebody's eyes. I'm sorry, you're realtors. You went through a 100-hour licensing course on how to figure out how many feet are in an acre. And we still don't know what that is without ChatGPT. Let's be real. Let's be real. And we're going to come in and like literally try to psychologically analyze people. We're going to come in and try to do all of these things. No, it's not going to happen. And yet, and yet, all day long, agents are trying to do what they want. This is how you start every single one of your listing presentations. You sit down and you get the overarching goal. It takes somewhere between 7 to 14 minutes. We're good, Kim. Actually, you know what? Like, Kim, I can I bring you up actually, Kim?
Of course.
And I don't know how to bring you up, but you know, just pretend like you're highlighted.
Oh.
When you're in a listing presentation now and you're getting overarching goals, or when you're talking to like what's her face, Fred and
Courtney and Fred.
Sally,
Courtney and Fred.
Courtney and Fred, I knew I was close.
Mm-hmm.
What was their what did you think their overarching goal was when you first met them, and what was their true overarching goal?
Oh, not much. Just I was trying to get to it. They were just trying to test the market. They're not in a rush to sell. Trying to dig deep. The kids are going away. The final one is going away to school, and they were just thinking about, selling their house, but they really didn't need to sell their house. So it was very, very surface level.
What did you find out after you had a better conversation with them?
So backstory
After
a little
after
bit, yeah.
after 3 offers were rejected,
Yeah, so I went
after the property had been on the market for how many days?
not that long, but enough where I spoke to Vic about it and I was like, Vic, I know this house is just gonna sit if I don't do anything. I need to do something aggressive. So Vic told me to have a conversation with them, but to have a conversation just with the wife, Courtney, because I originally only had the conversation with Fred, the husband, because Courtney didn't want to deal with it because, you know, it was selling their house, the kids grew up in, you know, very, very emotional. So I had a one-on-one conversation just with the wife and come to find that the husband's not doing very well. He's unemployed. The last daughter just got accepted to USC out in California. They need money for college because that's a ton of money. And basically they needed money. And Fred, of course, was just being like, you know, the badass that he was, you know, trying to play power moves and trying to be like a big honcho. And come to
Wasn't Fred broke?
yeah, Fred was unemployed.
Fred was unemployed. Who was paying their
Mhm.
mortgage?
His the in-laws, Courtney's dad.
We need a new hat for this one. And then what happened?
And I had a heart-to-heart conversation with Courtney, and I said, "Listen,
Where
let's."
did you guys have a heart-to-heart conversation at?
She didn't even want to meet me at the house, so we met at the park.
The park. She was incognito, y'all.
It was incognito. And we met at the park and I sat down with her, you know, girl with girl, mom and mom, and had a conversation. And she came clean and she told me exactly what was going on. And I said, first thing I said,
Wow.
it's like, do you even want to sell this house? Why are you selling your home? Because the way you're pricing it doesn't seem like you want to sell it. And then just everything came down. And that's when I was able to find out what was going on. Come to find a few things too, like stupid stuff, like, you know, Fred wasn't telling her things.
Fred wasn't telling her
Yeah,
things. Oh,
found out that,
God.
you know, in Florida, you know, we have homestead exemption, and since they've owned the property for the last 10 years, they never filed homestead exemption, so
They
it's property
never filed
taxes.
homestead. What does that mean?
That
He
means
was
it's
lying to her.
yeah, yeah, and I never told her that, of course. I never relayed that to her. But he was pissed. Fred was pissed, but you know what? We got an offer on the house about what? What was it, Vic? Like maybe like a week
An
later, and I
hour after that?
what?
An hour after that?
Pretty much. We dropped the price. They listened to me. I went in there and I did talk about, we didn't even talk, you guys didn't even hear about, you know, the 3 levels of pricing too. But when I went in there and I started talking to them from day one, I'm like, you're totally pricing this at aspirational pricing and your pricing needs to be here. You're all the way up here. It's never going to sell. And they finally came down and they listened to me and it sold for the exact price that I told them that it was going to sell for.
Now, if you didn't have the overarching goal conversation,
It'd still
was
be
it
sitting on the market.
was it a nice conversation or was it a necessary conversation?
It was a necessary conversation, but it was a genuine conversation. It wasn't, you know, like I told you so or anything like that. It was about really just finding, you know, like coming from a place of love and coming from your heart and just like, listen, I'm here to help you. You need to let me help you. You know, if you're keeping information from me, this isn't going to work.
You got to peel the onion, y'all.
Totally peel
You
back
got
that.
to go layers and layers deep. Your job as a salesperson isn't to be the reason why we don't have real conversations is because we're trying to be nice to people. And we're trying not to lose something because we don't have anything else in the pipeline. And is that scarcity or abundance?
Scarcity.
Is that power or force? Force. Is that actually helping the prospect or hurting the prospect? Now, Kim was freaking out a little bit. Were you not, Kim?
Yeah, because I am a, you know, as sure all of us, you know, we're at a place of scarcity or, you know, I mean, I needed that listing. I mean, that was a chunky commission. I mean, it was a $1.5 million deal.
Imagine that, y'all. Like movie star Kim on the big screen.
I love you, Vic.
You too. Like, can you imagine what happens when we don't spend the time up front to get to know somebody? How many of you guys are still doing tours of homes? No judgment here. How many of you guys are spending 25 minutes of your 45 to 1 hour doing a tour of the home? That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, think about that. You have 45 minutes before the person starts checking out, and we spend 20 to 30 of it walking and looking at the back of their head. And they're turning around looking at you. Oh my God. I wonder what my butt looks like. Oh my God, did I pick up the underwear? Oh my God, there's water on the sink. Gentlemen, you know that like a lady cannot have somebody at their house unless it's perfect because their brain is like constantly working like, oh my God, they're judging me, they're judging me, they're judging me. Like some of you gentlemen don't know that. That's why you can leave clothes on the floor. It doesn't bug you, but like your significant other, like, oh my God, you're so messy. My housekeeper tells my mom, she's like, oh my God, Vic's so organized, but he has clothes on the floor. It drives me crazy. I'm like, really? I'm like, huh, I didn't even notice them. I walk right by them. It's like the basket's there, the clothes are there on the floor, right? Because we're wired differently. And we go and we spend 25 minutes building rapport with somebody that's not even listening to you. You need the overarching goal. You need the overarching goal. Okay. You need the overarching goal. You got to go deep. You got to probe and clarify. If I can give you guys these questions right here, right? If I can give you guys these questions right here, you will win. Oh, wait, I did give them to you. I did give them to you, right? Tell me more. How do you mean? Is there any reason why this is becoming more of a priority? Hold on, space, right? One word probe. Tell me more. How do you mean? How long has that been going on for? Is that having any impact on you, your life, your kids, your family, your work? If nothing changes, will blank continue to have any ramifications on you? If you can get that out of people at the beginning of your conversation, what do you think the conversation around price is going to be? What do you think the conversation around timelines and calendars are going to be? What do you think the conversation around everything else is going to be? Do you think it's going to be different than what they're at now? Yeah. You know why? Because now when they talk about price or they talk about their timeline, what are they not going to say anymore? What did Kim's people say? We're not in a what? My mom's in the background. She goes, rush. My mom's laying down. Everybody say hi to my mom. Mom, say hi.
Hi, Mom.
Come on, y'all. Say hi to mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hello.
Deal. You've raised a great son.
Hello, Mom. Hi.
Keep lying to her.
Hello,
She likes-
mamacita.
Your
Hi,
Sunday is
Mom.
spoiled.
Hello,
keep,
mamacita.
Hola. Mucho gusto.
keep lying to her. She appreciates it when you guys lie. Thank you. Now they're not going to say we're not in a rush. Now they're not going to say, oh, we're just testing the market. Now when we're going to get to the 3 pricing strategies. But do you see how we have to come from a place of abundance with people to get them into a place of abundance? Every time you go into a listing presentation, put your hand on your heart. I'm here to serve. I got this. I'm here to serve. Breathe deep into your belly, reset your systems. Lower the stress, reset your body, because you can't walk into a listing appointment with the same energy that you're putting a fire out on the drive there. Like literally you're on a drive to their house putting a fire out, yes or yes. And then you walk into their house and you didn't reset yourself. And now you're trying to get them to make the biggest decision that they're going to make financially in the last 3 to 7, 9 years. And do you see how hard it is to get them to switch gears? You're not in the right gear. You're coming from fight or flight. You have to get them to shift. And then when you walk in, you're cool, calm, collected. You sit down, you do a strategy session first, and you don't over compliment the house. I've walked into $5 million custom homes that were sick, like so sick. And everything in my body was like, oh my God, this house is what it's like when you're on a date with somebody that you know is like 17 like levels out of your league times 1,000, and you're like, just keep it cool and together, right? That's what it's like. And every bone in your body and every muscle is like, tell about all of them. Oh, this is awesome. Tell me like a little bit more as we strategize and we walk to the kitchen table. Did you guys build this or buy it? Did you remodel it? No, we bought it. We built it. We spent 3 years building it. We picked out every single door handle. Oh, I could tell the attention to detail is spectacular in the house. Is it cool if we set up over here and strategize? And all you want to do is just like walk the house because it's literally the coolest detailed house you've ever seen, where they picked out every piece of tile and doors and faucets and like, oh my God, it was insane. The trim everywhere. And you just keep it cool. Because why? Because that's what you're there for. You see this every day. So can we implement the overarching goal? Can we implement those 5 to 7 questions at the beginning of our conversations? Yes or yes? I need 103 yeses in the chat right now. Unless you're driving, I need 79, 80 of them. Did I tell you I'm going to open this up and show you things that you've probably never seen in a way that you've probably never done? Are you having fun yet? We talked about sex. So some of you guys that, you nasty people out there, sex is bad. You're not supposed to do it. Okay. I know, my poor mom, I forgot she's here. You guys, I get into flow, I forget mom's here. I forget mom's here. I'm like, oh, whoops. Yeah, moms know everything about their kids. Trust you me. There's nothing we can hide. Do we need a break, Cody, or can we keep rocking?
Keep going.
All right. If you guys need to run to the restroom, go fast. You don't want to miss this one. You do not want to miss this one. So remember what I told you. The person who just rolled over my pinky toe. Remember I told you guys that the person who talks about contracts or agreements is the person who wins more agreements? As agents, do we try to kind of like not talk about agreements, buyer agreements, seller agreements, right? Purchase and sale. Do we kind of like not feel super confident talking about those? Yeah, we do. We do. Just because I stand on nails doesn't mean I want to run over my foot with the chair. You guys, like, just because I'm insane doesn't mean I want to like actually put, 190 pounds of pressure on my foot. So sometimes we run from the agreements, but we should run to them instead of from them. So let's talk about that. So there's 3 agreements. Okay. There's 3 agreements. And those agreements, I would say, are the oxygen, right, of the purchase and sale agreement. Like if you do a transaction, we need these 3 agreements in order to have a full transaction, right? So number 1 is the listing agreement. Okay. I like to use the word agreement and not contracts because agreements are less scary. And is it true? Oh God, get the screen bigger. Bro, this is killing me today. This is absolutely killing me today. How about there?
You got to make it full screen. Your notes are live.
I don't even have my notes. Andy
know.
completely see, all my notes are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, not happy. It's such beautiful notes. They're all gone. All gone. There you go. That one? That one?
Yep. Yep. You're good.
Agreement number one, the listing agreement. Okay. Pretty standard. What do you think number two is going to be? Rambo, I will kill you. I know where you live. I will find you. I will hunt you down and I will put a crocodile in your bed. The buyer agreement, right? The number two is the buyer agreement. Okay. Now you guys all call it different things, but the first thing is the listing agreement. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'd write this down. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what we use to put somebody like me to work when you're ready to list your home on the market, when you're ready to sell your home so you can move to wherever they told you. The second is the buyer agreement. Now, in today's day and age, every buyer that's represented by an agent will have a buyer agency agreement. The reason why this is important is twofold. One is it shows us the buyer is actually serious, right? Oh, my dad's home. I'm surprised he didn't get mugged on the streets of Columbia. Everybody say hi to my dad. Well, no, you have to come over here and wave to him. They can't see you over there, good sir. Everybody
What's
come say
up,
hi.
Pops?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Deal.
Hey.
Hey, Dad.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Pop.
Everybody say hi to dad.
Okay, I can't see him.
Can't see your face, dad.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
Well,
Hello, Daddy.
Wow.
All the best to you guys.
Got a little who's your daddy?
Ah,
Make a killing. Hey,
Who's
his
your
wife's there.
daddy?
weird. That was weird. I don't know who said that, but we're just
That was
gonna let
pretty
that
funny.
one slide.
oh,
That was awkward. Sounds like somebody's working the streets of Columbia.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
The second one is the buyer agency agreement. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the reason why this is important is because it allows us to know who's serious about buying homes. So that when we get an offer, we know that the buyer is actually serious about the home purchase. You're also seeding what? What do you seed with that? That when they go to buy a house, if they want to be taken seriously, they need to have a what in place? You guys, please don't say the value of an agent ever.
The
It just
agreement.
it doesn't even make sense, the value of an agent, because the value comes from your process, not because you signed a buyer agency agreement. This whole terminology of this industry of like, you got to show your value. You show your value by having a badass buyer agreement, buyer presentation and listing presentation, and actually following through with the things that you say you're going to do. Nobody thinks agents are important. I can tell you that. I sold $250 million. My parents were still like, well, what do you actually do? Like, what do you mean? I'm on the phone 24 hours a day when I'm here with you. Yeah, but what do you actually do, son? I don't do shit, mom and dad. I just sit around and I show houses and, we take pretty pictures and we put it on the internet. Like, oh, that's what we thought. I'm like, no, do you guys listen to anything that happens in your household? They're like, not really. The third one is a purchase and sale agreement. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is how we essentially bring, right? This is how we actually bring a buyer and a seller together, right? For all intensive purposes, we can call this the offer. Now, you can spend a minute or two to go through it with them at this point, or you could do it later on in the presentation. It's really up to you. I like to go through it with them a little bit because there's blanks inside of a purchase and sale agreement. Is there not? Yes or yes? Right? So like
Yes.
inside of a purchase and sale agreement, are there not some blanks in there? Right? So like inside of a purchase and sale agreement, it kind of looks like this. It's got some, I know all of them are different, but it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One will be a date. Something will be like a closing date. Something will say something like earnest money. Something will say something like a purchase price. There'll be something like contingencies. Right? Is that kind of like what a purchase and sale agreement looks like, y'all? And then there's like things over here. Right? So all of these things right here help you with what? So if you go through the purchase and sale and you ask them certain things like, ideally, what would you like to see filled in here for the closing date on your property? Like, when would you guys like to be moved into your new property? Yes or yes? Do you see how this helps build the calendar? And then earnest money, right? Because everything you do for a seller, you're also doing for a buyer. And so when you explain the earnest money, do you think that's helpful? Because you're going to explain to them, this is how you show value. So a strong offer, right? Earnest money is typically between 1 to 5% in our market. You know, based off of market dynamics, a weak offer is going to have somewhere between a 1 to 2% earnest money deposit. A strong offer, right, is going to have somewhere between a 3 to 5% earnest money. So when we're looking at offers, this is what I'm looking at to help decide who I would want to choose if I were in your shoes. Because my job is to help guide you to pick the best offer that's the most likely to close at the highest price with the best terms. Did you all catch that? You didn't, because I didn't see anybody writing, but that's okay. Purchase price, right? So this is where the buyer is going to put in their offer price. Now, you can ask for what they would like to see there, but has the seller ever been reasonable in their life? So if you ask them what they want to see there, is the number going to be probably aspirationally, like an aspirational price? So you can leave it blank. But here's what I would say. Purchase prices typically range depending on your price strategy, and I'll show you guys how to utilize this later. Purchase prices typically range, depending on your price strategy, somewhere between 90% of list price to, depending on your market, to 107% of list price. LP means list price. You have to explain everything to them because they don't know what LP means. So now you're giving them a range. Why did we give them a range? Why did I give them a range right here? Anybody?
Well, it shows actually you've done your homework and you're giving them proper guidance that this could be a possibility.
Which possibility?
It can swing either which way, 90% of the listing price or 7% over asking listing price.
And what am I seating for right now, ladies and gentlemen?
Pricing strategy.
Yes, sir, Marco. Hi, Markowitz. How are you, buddy?
Chilling.
Markowitz is killing it out there. So proud of this young man, crushing the expired game.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
You're doing the work, bro. I see you. The last thing you're going to talk about is contingencies. Right? Now, again, all in all, this doesn't have to take a tremendous amount of time. Right? All in all, this doesn't have to be a drawn out 20-minute conversation. You're powering through this in like 2 minutes. Now, you got to practice it, right? You can't just like show up and be like, hey, here's the listing agreement, here's the buyer agreement, here's the purchase sale agreement. And show all three of those agreements to a buyer, to a seller without having practiced and rehearsed it. Like, your presentation skills are crucially important if you're in presentations that are 200, 300, 400, 500, a million, 2 million, 5 million. Would you all agree on that one? So would you agree that you need to practice these things? I don't want to set expectations for a price reduction, Leanne. I want to set expectations for what? the two other strategies, either event-based pricing or perceived market value. Because a price reduction means you did what strategy? If somebody goes on a price reduction, what's the strategy that they implemented on that listing?
Aspirational.
Inspirational.
Oh, I love my Triz clients. You guys are good at it. Aspirational. And if they're aspirationally priced, where is it's going to be somewhere in the 90%, correct? Because by the time you have your original list price and you go all the way down to your sale price, is there not going to be breaks along the way? And so when you're talking to the seller, this is minute 15 to 10. You've already brought up market dynamics. You've already brought up the 3 agreements. You have an insane overarching goal. You've talked about the purchase and the buyer agreement. You've seeded that they needed a buyer agreement to buy a home to be taken seriously. You've talked about their closing date. You've already built a calendar. You've already figured out like the purchase price range, and you've already seeded that there's different strategies. You're planting the seed early that it's going to be what? That prices don't always get what sellers don't always get what they want. You didn't waste time on a tour. You've talked about what's a strong artist. Do you see how you showed that you are different than the other agents? Do you see how you showed why they should hire you versus all the other agents are talking about value? I don't know what the fuck that means. You know, I show value as a coach right now doing this live with you guys. You don't give a shit that I sold a bunch of shit in my life. Nobody gives a fuck about what anybody does. None of you guys commented on my flowers back there. Look at that setup. I haven't pointed out to you guys to hide the ice bath back there. God, Pamela, you're killing me.
Hey, Vic, isn't aspirational at the 100%, 107% range and not
We're
the
going to
90?
get in there, bro. We're going to get in there. We're going to get in there. Don't you worry. We're going to get all the way up deep into that. You guys are going to know exactly what this is all when we're done if you stay. But there's so many people that dropped off, and that sucks for them. So now we've hit the 3 different agreements. We've walked them through briefly, right? The listing agreement. Oh, by the way, if somebody signs a listing agreement, can they fire you? If somebody signs a listing agreement, can they fire you? Is it hard to get fired as an agent? If they sign up buyer agency, can they fire you? Y'all, there are some ramifications that could be in place. Maybe around you did some stuff, but you can get fired with an email and they never have to talk to you again. And if you're good enough and you've been around long enough, you will have been fired. Only agents who suck have never been fired because you're not doing enough business with people you don't know. And your friends will never fire you. They'll just keep letting those things expire on you. And then they're going to say, I'm taking my home off the market. I've been fired with an email and the people lived in my building and they never told me why. And I saw them in the elevator. And you should tell them that. Hey, and just for full disclosure, like I know sometimes buyers and sellers get pretty tripped out about these agreements. Like, can I just tell you the secret? Yeah, what's up? Here's how you fire me. What? Yeah, like, is it okay if I share with you how you would fire me? Well, yeah, I mean, why would you do that though? Well, because I want to make sure that we are in a partnership. Unlike average agents who are going to try to like possibly not go through this with you. I want you to see right here, line number 17. It says, this is how you fire me. And this would be the compensation I would be due if I spent money on the home and we agreed to that up front. But this is how you would fire me and take the home off the market if you decided to. And at any time, if I'm not performing, I would tell you, you should fire me. They're like, whoa. Do you think you just elevated your status? Guys, you're selling the no, you're selling the trust. Trust, rapport, influence, sales. And if any agent that you guys are meeting with, you better plug that in, Janet. Any agent that you guys are meeting with, if they are not telling you how that you could be let out of this agreement, I don't know. I'd feel like they're hiding something from me. Now you move on to what's called a tie down question. Is this helpful or should we stop? Is this helpful or should we stop? Oh, yes, we should stop. Okay. You guys said stop. Okay. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, not helpful at all, bro.
Okay. Ah, Markowitz, that one hurt from you, man. Markowitz, that hurts coming from you.
You're doing a tie down for us right now.
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. Let's talk about tie down questions then. A tie down question is where you are going to preemptively strike to eliminate as many objections as you can before you go to close. If you try to tie it down at close, you are a salesperson. If you tie it down before, you're an advisor. Don't ask a weak question. A weak question is something like, so do you have any questions? And what do they say? So do you have any questions? What do they say? Nope, 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 nope. So what questions specifically did you have around the 3 agreements that govern a real estate transaction? So what questions do you have specifically around the 3 agreements that I just laid out, right? These are kind of like what I call the oxygen of a transaction. Do you have specifically? What questions came up as we were talking about the purchase and sale, the buyer agreement, or the listing agreement? Are there any specific questions around what we just talked about specifically that have come up? You got to make sure when you tie down a question, you are very specific with the question. Because if you're not, what are they going to say to you? No, we're good. And then what's going to happen at the end? Well, we never sign agreements on day one. Why? We need to review it. Who reviews it? You review it. When do you review it? Right up front with them. Because if they have questions, you can now decide to pause your next step and answer the questions, or you could decide to go into the conversation deeper and ask more questions about what they have. This is where the flexibility, this is why this is a structured framework, not a script. A script dictates you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A structured framework means you get to play in the structure and figure out what works for you. Yes, yes. Do we like this? Do you guys have any questions specifically about what we just covered? So there was a question in the chat that Cody sent me. What agreement do you feel is the most important to cover? What do you guys think?
Offer to purchase.
Purchase, purchase, purchase. Can't be all, you guys. If we say all, that's not specific. Right? So when you guys ask a specific, this is super important. Can I tangent here? Do I have permission to tangent? Can I get a thumbs up? Do I have permission to tangent? Is this helpful? Okay, I have permission from 1 person. Okay, thank you, Sal. Thank you, Bob. 2 people have, okay, 4 people. Okay. When you ask a specific question and the prospect, it doesn't matter what you do, doesn't give you a specific answer, what do you need to do?
Wait, say that again.
Ask another
When
question.
you ask a specific question
Ask
and
it
the
differently.
person you ask hold on, you guys, mute for the people in here. When you ask a specific question and you get a generic answer or a non-specific answer, what is the prospect doing and what do you need to do?
Probe more.
But what is the prospect doing right there?
Avoiding.
They're deflecting, they're avoiding. What else? They're not taking ownership of the problem. Yes, all of these are important. The buyer, the seller, right? The purchase and sell. All three are important agreements. Just like module 2, 4, 5, but so is 3. But if I told you guys when you walk in on day 1 that you need to learn module 2, module 4, and 5, how to convey your message over the phone, how to do a buyer consultation, and how to do a listing presentation. Oh, my dad's filming us right now. It's awkward. Would you not be overwhelmed? So if there's one thing that's important, right? Which one is the most important for you that you want to cover? The buyer agreement, the listing agreement, or the purchase and sale agreement? So a whole bunch of different answers, right? A whole bunch of different answers.
No.
Here's what I would tell you. Got a lot of listing agreements. I don't know what an RLA is. They don't either. Be very, 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 very generic when you guys talk to people, right? You want to be very generic when you talk to people. The reason why is because when you go really deep into the weeds, they don't understand it and you lose them in complexity. And so when you're talking to somebody, right, I would say that you can get a lot more information out of a purchase and sale agreement than you're going to get out of a listing agreement. And you can share a lot of things, but depending on what your listing agreement looks like, you can use the same questions that we use in the purchase and sale on a listing. Because oftentimes a listing agreement will have what's the sale list price going to be? What's the listing date? Correct? Yes, yes. But they don't talk about contingencies. They don't talk about earnest money. They don't talk about some of those other things that would be important. Yes, yes. So I'm going to tap on those. Personally, I'm going to tap on every blank, but I'm going to explain it with a double tap inside of the purchase and sale agreement. Whoever asked that question, great job to Cody. That's a great question. Is that helpful? By the way, you guys, we closed at 90% of our appointments on expired listings. So you all want more listing opportunities? Fuck that. Oh, my dad's here. I can't cuss. Oh gosh. He's like literally making tea right in the living room. So hard to have dad and mom home. Mom's over there. We're talking about sex. Dad's over there. We're dropping the F-bomb. Just
Be grounded in your own house.
Getting grounded in my own house. Like, God, I'm getting grounded. When you are out there, every opportunities go to war. Every opportunity you need to maximize the results on. Every opportunity you have to be the absolute most prepared, the absolute most grounded, the absolute certainty. You need to practice. Some of you here haven't had a listing appointment in the last 90 days. Just, that's okay. But when you walk into that listing appointment, do you need to make sure you're the most prepared out of everybody? Yes. Some of you had 4 last week and you signed 0. There's nothing wrong with that. I want you to know there's nothing wrong with that. But we need to get better. Some of you went 3 for 5, right? That's a 60% close rate. You could probably squeak out another 10 to 15 just by changing your listening style. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to be more conscious with your listening. There's so many teachers out there that have never actually sat down with a client and they don't listen. And because they don't listen, they're talking over the people instead of talking with the people. Okay. Is that helpful? Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. We don't need that slide. Ooh, we definitely need this slide. I need your guys' participation with the me if you're feeling this one. I need your participation with, oh, I can't, Cody, I'm so irritated that this doesn't work. If you're loving it, can I get a me in the chat? If you're loving it, can I get a me in the chat? I need to see 100 me's to continue. Otherwise, I'm going to stop. I will stop. You guys have no idea. I don't need to be here right now. I haven't slept in 4 days. Okay. How are we doing on time here, y'all? 45, 46. Ooh, I like this. Is this fun? Is this $3,000 Zoom call that I'm on right now? Like I spent $3,000 to get this little deck and half of it doesn't even work right now for me. Is this fun though? I'm having fun. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Cody's keeping me tabs on time here. Should we give away something free right now? Should we give away something free? Let's give away something free. Let's spin the roulette wheel. Let's spin the roulette wheel. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Who's going to be the lucky winner? Who is it? I can't even see the screen. It's so small. Who won? Let's bring him up. Who won? Can you guys see the screen?
Kathy Klingman.
Kathy, yeah.
Kathy.
Yes, dear.
What did you win?
I don't know.
What do you want?
I want. Surprise me.
Y'all see that? I gave an opportunity for her to ask for anything. She said, surprise me. Cody, what did she win? Cody's like, leave me out of it. I'm in the background. Like, why am I being talked to? My job's just to get
We got people wanting free month of membership. Wow.
a
That's
free month of membership.
That sounds good.
Daniel Amani, he said $1 billion. Kathy, you got a free month of membership. I was gonna give
Thank you.
I was gonna give you 3, you guys. You got to be careful what you ask for. Team will reach out to you on the back and let's keep going.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here and playing. We like when people play full out. So now I have to figure out how to get you off screen. I got to kick you out of the screen. Okay. Does that work? Who knows? Who even knows what's happening?
You're
Let's
still
go.
pinned. You're good, man. Keep going.
Yep. I figured I was, but I have no idea how this works. Even though I practiced. Can you guys practice sometimes and things still not work the way you want? Is that okay? And can it still be an awesome, fantastic experience, even though it wasn't perfect? Is that possible? And can you get better? Because do you think that we're not going to go back and be like, why did this break? Like, do you think we're not going to go back and ask why this broke? Like, here, can I deviate again? Cody, you know I always deviate. Cody's like, bro, you got an hour left. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get through what we get through. He's like, you spent like 4 hours building 120 slides. I'm like, nobody wants to see 120 slides. Nobody cares about 120 slides. I want to show you guys something. Like, I will never ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. Okay. So this is the company that I'm using to do all this like cool slide stuff on, right? Literally, there's a portal, right? Like there's literally a portal of all this crap that we have to study and go through and do the work and like blah, 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 check marks and all this crap. But when you go to the homepage, there's like a chat section, right? And inside the chat section, I can ask questions. And look, 6 hours ago, 5 days ago, 5 days ago, 1 week, right? I just signed up for this thing like 2 weeks ago. And so every time something doesn't work the way I want, I go back to the coach community and I ask them the questions. Every time you do a listing or a buyer consultation or a phone session and you don't get the results you want, do you go back and actually review to see what didn't go right and what didn't and what did? Do you study what you did well and what could have been better? Because if you're not doing that, what do you think's happening inside of your presentations? It's Groundhog's Day over and over and over again. So like you don't become better, you get better. It's just not, it's not like hope and prayers. Like I'm just gonna get better, right? You gotta be better if you want to be better. All right. Strategy before price. This is what you came for. If only I had a DJ that was playing. This is what you came for. Lightning. This
You know
is
I'm a DJ, right?
I know, but you're not helping me, Mario. Mario, I'll put my sombrero on for you if you could play music, bro. Like, look, I got props for you guys. I got props over here. So this is the standard agent marketing kit. Anybody ever seen the standard agent marketing kit? Right? Anybody see the standard agent marketing kit? Put a me in the chat. Yeah, where's Jan at? Put the me in the chat. We've all seen the standard agent marketing kit, right? Identify the home's unique selling features. Consider the lifestyle. Research the neighborhood. Like this is like what? This is the shit that we're talking about. You guys, I pulled this off of an internet forum. Dated. This came out 2 weeks ago. This came out 2 weeks ago. Is it not in 2025 standard that you should research the neighborhood and consider like prepare a CMA? Like, are we still talking about CMAs in 2025? Discuss the options with the sellers. Well, no shit, Sherlock. We're going to discuss the options with the seller. Is this rocket science over here? Clean and declutter, prepare. You guys, this is what I got from my first brokerage. This was the marketing plan I got from my first brokerage in 2011. It hasn't changed at all. Standard agent, sad marketing kit. Oh, some more standard agent stuff made in Canva. Standard stuff, just listed, just sold, door hangers, right? Ooh, instant download, exciting. Let's go out. You all want to download. I know you are itching to ask me in the chat, where do I get to download this? I know you guys want this. I know you do. You're dying for it right now. Standard agent marketing kit. Checklists, flyers, website, piecemeal together. It's all piecemeal together. Who here has a listing presentation that's piecemeal together right now? You don't have to say anything. I'm not going to call you out. But if it's a me, we need to fix that because this is what every agent in your marketplace is doing. And if you are competing with everybody, doing the exact same thing as everybody, you are a commodity and not an advisor. And that's why we hear things in the marketplace. Well, we have to make sure that they understand our value. No, you don't get them to understand value. You elevate your game and you show the value. Y'all, we're going on 3 hours strong over here, just so you know. And I'm like 2 liters of water in. I'm just saying this might be a tough day. Triz agents, though, this is a choreographed dance, right? You got multiple pieces that are all funky on their own, but they come together in this beautiful choreographed dance. And certain sections are going to come to the forefront and certain, oh, you guys can't see my screen, can you? Can you? I hate this, Cody.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we got it.
I hate this right now. I'm so sad. So disappointed.
It's been awesome.
Section comes together and it's a choreograph. And at one moment, you're going to have something that's more important over here, then that's going to go over here. But who's the choreographer? You are. You're the one who puts it all together. So here we're going to talk a little bit about the buyer's universe. There's 4 sections to the buyer's universe. You guys might want to take a picture of this. Good stuff. 4 sections to the buyer's universe. Active that we know, active we don't know. Passive that we know, passive we don't know. Okay? Nobody took a picture? Okay. I gave you guys the opportunity. Passive and your database, your website, Facebook ads that you can retarget, right? So like people from your website. Now this is like some gangster stuff that I don't know how to do. So I'm not going to tell you to ask me because I don't know how to do it, but there's smart people in the world that can retarget people in your database and from your website, right? That are doing similar things to these people, right? And people who came to like your home registry. Now, when you're talking to a seller, do you need to share everything that you do in each section, or do you just need to share that you do stuff that others don't? What do you guys think?
Just share things that others don't.
What do you think? You don't share it all, Laura.
Oops.
It's okay. That's why we talk about it. That's why we talk about it. And do you do everything? Do all of you guys have a great database right now? No. Do all of you guys have a website right now? No. Do all of you guys do Facebook ads and retargeting? I don't even know what the hell that means. You got to put a pixel, the pixel does something, and then it goes from here. And I don't know. I'm like, Cody, what did we do? He's like, bro, you just go talk. Stay out of my lane. I'm like, awesome. Some of you guys don't even get people registered at an open house. So you're going to do what you know how to do, and you're going to share. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, right? There's this thing out there that we call the buyer's universe. Right now, when most agents are kind of talking about the standard checklist of items that they do, our job is to actually help you find all the buyers that could potentially buy your home. Is it cool if I walk you through how we do that? You guys see the languaging that we use there? They're going to say yes. Cool. So the first one is what we call like passive people that we know, right? These are people that might live in our database or on our website. And I'm going to literally, y'all, like, I'm going to literally do this, right? I'm going to literally do this with them. So the reason why I said you should have this drawn out is because you should be in here like this with them, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, right? This is what we call the buyer's universe. And I would have, again, this written out. And you're going to put passive, you're going to put active, right? So, and you're going to put no and don't know. And you just have to put one thing in here while you're explaining. Right now, not all of you do the same thing. But what's really cool is you go to ChatGPT and you can actually like talk to ChatGPT and it'll give you ideas. This is called a process. And you're going to write in something here. Did everybody catch that? Like, I can't see you guys right now because I don't know where you guys disappeared to on my screen. So did everybody see that? Can I just make sure that we're all a yes? Okay. Now we're going to go to the second one. All right. Now we're going to go to the second one. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the next one is the passive people we don't know yet, right? And these are the people that might live in the area that see our signs. They might have seen a Facebook post. Maybe somebody shared a Facebook or an Instagram or a YouTube video with them, right? These are people that might be getting our deal of the week, but they've never really raised their hand, right? They're in our database, but we don't know them because they're not actively searching, right? They're not passively raised their hand at any time, right? So these are what we call the passive people we don't know, right? And you would, again, you'd go to your screen and you would put in the passive that you don't know, and you'd put in one or two things right there, right? So do you see how you need to practice talking and writing? Everybody, presentation skills, super crucial. Y'all still with me? I know you guys are going strong. I'm so proud of you. You guys are crushing it. This is a lot of work, but I'm trying to make it fun and keep it simple, but you guys are doing amazing. Okay. The third, right? So now we have the third one, and this is the active people that we know, right? These are people that are set up on active searches inside of our systems, right? Now, you're not going to say like the MLS and all the different things. You just say, these are the active people that we have set up inside of our systems. These are the buyers that have that have signed buyer contracts with us. These are people that have come to the open house with us, right? That we know are actively looking. And currently in our database, we have 62 people, right, that are on active searches in your neighborhood. And we have 12 people that have signed a buyer agency agreement with us. And we typically do 2 open houses per week. And we generate blank number of new active buyers to market your home to. Do you guys see how right now we're not using generics, we're using specifics? Do you guys see that right there in this box? We're going to actually put what? Proof. This is the proof that we're utilizing now. It's very important that we don't skip over this step, because proof is more important than anything else. This is social proof that you guys have buyers, right? When you guys show them this, they know that you're what? Active. They know that you are tracking. They know that you're doing the business. Is this landing, everybody? Okay. And then the last one, oops. The last one is the active people that we don't know, right? And this is kind of what we call the one-click marketing channel. I need you all to pay attention right now, please. This will change your life. All right. This will change your life. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen. This is super important. The active people that we don't know, we reach through what we call like syndications. This is where we essentially click one button, and inside of the MLS, the multiple listing service that every agent is a part of, we basically click one button and that shoots your property out to 400 plus websites or whatever your number is. Now, a lot of average agents are going to focus solely on this one bucket. Like they're actually doing a lot of work. But this is what every agent has access to. Now, can I ask you a question? And you're going to go back to your page and you're going to double tap, right? And you've highlighted the numbers on your active and that you know, right? You can even put in your lenders database. Like we reached out to a few of our lenders, we reached out to a couple of our partner agents, and we have generated 72 people that are actively looking right now in this neighborhood for a home very similar to yours. Tie down question, right? You got to tie all of this down. Otherwise, it's meaningless. Do you want your agent doing what every other agent does, or do you want your agent actively, proactively searching for buyers that would pay for your home, that are qualified, that are in the market today looking? Are you looking to just put a sign in the yard and click it out to 400 websites, or are you looking for an agent that's actively marketing your property to people they know inside of the buyer's universe? Everything needs to be tied down. Eric, Mr. Hudson, was that just like a mind-blowing moment right there for you, sir? Or were you talking to like your lender and about to punch him in the head? Because that's a mind-blowing moment, right? You guys, we got to tie everything down. Now, if they say, well, it's not important, then that means you probably didn't do a very good job of explaining it, and you need to go back and practice. Or maybe they just tuned you out. Or maybe that's not really important. But we got to make sure that we tie all this down. You guys following? Right? Like, so for our clients, right? Like I've already built this out for you guys. You know, like it's too much to try to piecemeal this together. And it's going to take you too much work because you're not going to be able to figure it out on your own. Right? Like it took us years and years and years to do it. And so we just built it for you guys. It took me 2 years to build this actually, even after I knew like what I was doing. It took me 2 years to build this because it's just so much trial and error of like testing that it took us like 2 years to build. So like inside, now for our clients, you guys know that this is module 5. Don't be forgetting about module 3 and all the psychology, please. Please don't forget module 3, but it's all right here. Right? The 4 phases, the buyer universe, the listing launch, the integrate. I can't go through all of this today. Right? I just can't. And so if you want, you can, book in a call with us. You don't have to if you don't like money, it's okay. And you can try to figure it out on your own. That's okay too. But it's all written out, everything step by step for you. Right? And everything's done through individual videos because it's too much to learn on your own. And there's just too many YouTube videos out there that suck. So what we're going to hit in right now is the pricing strategy, right? And as you can see, it's all scripted for you guys. This is how you get the structured frameworks. This is what allows you to bounce in between different things. And when you learn how to talk about this, it just makes your life easy. And so everything's just bam, bam, bam right there for you. Okay. So let's do this because I'm going to explode. Let's do this. Can we all promise that we're going to come back in the next 90 seconds? I can't give you more than 90 seconds. So can we all just run to the restroom? I'm scared to do this, Cody. Cody, do you want to play some music, Cody, and make sure? And let's all run to the restroom, right? Don't leave. Don't leave. It's about to get really good. So don't leave, but let's go to the restroom, get a little bit of water, stretch our legs, come back, and I'll see you guys in 2 minutes.
If you're a guest here with us and you want to learn a little bit more about Treza, the Real Estate Sales Academy, we have a ton of clients in here, but if you're a guest and you want to learn more about getting access to the entire listing presentation, kind of what we do, what we teach, I threw that in the link below. So the link is there if you want to book a call with a member of our team.
You done with the crutches, Cody?
I am walking without the boot now too.
Oh,
I know, right?
very good.
Feels nice to not have to walk around with the boot. So it's
Yeah.
I have an X-ray tomorrow, so I'm hoping that Tracy, I broke my foot in Nashville about 6 weeks ago. Fractured it in 2 places.
Drinking involved?
No, I don't drink. I was completely sober. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. I just slipped and fell and broke my foot. It made for a great summit. tried to stay on my feet the entire time. Yeah, it's broken.
Did you make Vikram carry you around?
Oh, yeah, he carried me around in Nashville. He carried all my bags too at the event.
Nice.
I know. He was my chauffeur.
You want to say hi? Say hi. You can say hi.
Hello. We got the little ones.
Hi.
Hello, man.
Hey.
Hi. Don't say hi to you, baby. Hi.
Well, oh, there he is.
How old are you?
We're two.
Oh, wow. Big boy.
You have to get ready for bed, right? Is it bedtime, baby?
All right, let's get started.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, let's go. Real quick, takeaways in the chat. What stood out to you? What stood out? What stood out? Edwin, I do have a steak and chicken on the smoker as we speak right now too. With all this stuff going on, we also have, it's been on there for 3 hours. No thermometer though, so it could be perfect or it could not be. What stood out, y'all? What stood out? Like, I need specifics. I need you to be very specific here. It's very important that you're specific. Because if we're not specific, we don't remember when we go home what we should be studying. I want you to implement, not just learn. Learners aren't earners. Be very specific, please. Okay? Tie downs. Yep. You don't have to tie down every section. You don't have to tie down every section, y'all. But when you go through something that's pretty heavy and that's very important, you want to get a commitment. Look at that, Cody. I knew we were going to lose people. We lost 6 people. Good gosh. Some people just can't stick around long enough for their own good. It's just too bad. It's just too bad. I can't keep you here. Can't force you. Wish I could. The industry would stay safer. Y'all know that if we don't elevate our game, the industry is going to continuously get beat down. Y'all do know that, right? Like, we are all in this together. People are like, oh, well, you make money. Yeah, of course I do. Everybody makes money. But if we don't elevate the game of the industry, everybody suffers. I just want you guys to know that. If you don't elevate your game, you are part of the problem. And when people don't want to pay the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever the commission level is, it's because you didn't want to elevate your game and actually study. And you're part of the problem, not the solution. And you shouldn't be offended by other people, because you're part of that people that don't want to elevate their game and study and do the work. And it's not easy. And that's why the top always rise and the bottom always fall. Buyer's universe. Oh, well, that slide shouldn't have been there. That's funny. So pricing strategies. Your strategy is not a CMA. Can we all say that out loud? Price strategy and CMAs are not the same thing. Because CMA is just what? Numbers. Average agents talk CMA and price. Okay, that's not good. Triz agents talk strategy before they talk price. Strategy, you need 3 components for. It's a step-by-step process. All right. Step number 1 is we need the overarching goal. Do you guys see that? Overarching. Do you guys like that picture? Overarching goal. I want you guys to remember that picture when you're talking to people. All right. Step 1 is you have to get the overarching goal. Write it down. Tattoo it on your foreheads. Put it on paper. Give it to your prospects and say, hey, I was told I need to get the overarching goal. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but let's talk about what are your goals. You could literally just say that if nothing else comes to mind. And they will laugh because they will open up. And I promise you, some of the stuff that's come out of my mouth before on presentations, well, I don't think anybody would be shocked with. And they still signed. And some of the presentations, let me tell you, sucked. But I've always done presentations. Every single person who's ever worked for me, we've done a buyer or seller or both. The most important thing is that we always got an overarching goal. Step number 2, we need to know what the 3 pricing strategies are, which we're going to get into. Step number 3 is you have to be able to bring it to life. Now, do you guys know that who here knows that I'm not using my hands to click the slides and there's nothing in my hands? Who noticed that my hands are completely free? Did you guys wonder? I wonder what he's using to move the slides. Who wondered that? Who wonder? Where are my curious people? Where are my Bob the Builders at? None of you guys were curious about how the slides were moving. Look, hands are here.
Cody's doing it.
Cody does not have the patience to deal with me. If Cody was doing it, we would have been done an hour ago.
We would have been on the last slide.
Yeah, we would have even had a fun story. If we don't know how to bring things to life, it all breaks. So you have to bring the prior strategy to life. Trust me, there is no way that a timer knows my brain works. There's no AI timer can keep up. Because they are. I've heard them. They suck. They're boring. They're monotone. Like they are literally, they're so boring that you don't want to do them. Be real. Because it's the same crap that's been taught for the last 27 years. LP Mama, qualify, send them a package of what their home's worth before, if they're not willing to be, reasonable on price. Well, if I ask my dad right now, what does he want for his house? You know what he's going to say? A ridiculous number. You know what my dad said the other day? I'll tell you what my dad said the other day. He said, at one point, my house was worth double. I was like, well, you didn't sell it though. He's like, but it was worth double. And you know what I said, Dad? I said to him, he's right there. He'll tell you. I said, Dad, but if you would have bought a house, you would have bought it at what? Double. So it doesn't matter because you weren't going to go rent a house. And he goes, well, that's true. Because he never thinks, because people never think outside of what? Their next one step. Most agents' presentations are all like this. I just like this slide, so I'm going to leave it on here for a second. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's for you, Laura.
The whole time I've been staring at the zombie, Vic.
Some of you guys feel like the house is burning on fire and you try to get out there so fast that you're like 17 seconds. Stop saying when somebody says, how long is it going to take? They're saying that because your phone skills suck. Just saying. It's okay. We can get better. Oh, it won't be very long. No, it's going to take as long as it's going to take. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour, maybe even a little bit longer, depending on the questions you have. Is that cool for you? Because, we want to make sure that we get you the right price. What if they're ad? Well, if they're ad, they're good at math. So let's wrap this all up into a bow. Okay. Let's wrap this up into a bow. So Cody, Andy lost my slides. Oh God, you got to be kidding me. Now I'm just pissed. So there's 3 pricing strategies that are out there in the world. Let's write them down. Number 1, Triz clients, what's the first pricing strategy that a seller can take?
Aspirational.
Aspirational.
Aspirational. Don't worry, I'm going to go over this for you all. Number 2 is what?
Perceived market value.
Perceived market value. Number 3 is?
Event-based pricing.
Aspirational, let's bring it to life. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there's three pricing models, right? There's three pricing strategies that kind of cover all the pricing strategies out there. Is it cool if I talk about them? Yes. The first one is what we call aspirational pricing. Aspirational pricing is where the seller, right? It's where we price higher than the market based off of relative comps, right? And this is for people who are like, they have a special lot, they have air rights, they have land rights. Maybe, there's something about your home that's unique outside of what's normal for the neighborhood and the area. Or it's for people that are just kind of testing the market. Do any of those fit you right now? Do any of those fit your particular situation? No. Awesome. Because you already know they're not testing the market because you got number one, which is what? What's step number one? Getting the what?
Overarching goal.
Goal.
Okay. So when you have the overarching goal and you've already had the conversation around what they're trying to do, what happens? We don't have the conversation around what? Aspirational pricing, because we've already figured out what? They need to move somewhere, do something because they're not testing the market. Number two, perceived market value. Now, a lot of agents, right? The average agent out there in the world, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is going to talk about what we call market value. But actually, it's perceived market value because we don't get market value until a buyer and a seller come together on the purchase and sale agreement, and the buyer and the seller sign and agree on the terms, the price, the contingencies, et cetera, that we covered earlier. So it's perceived market value until, right? Until what? Until everybody agrees on the price. And the third pricing strategy is what we call event-based pricing. Is it cool if I walk you through event-based pricing? Now, the reason I'm going to take a pause and ask for permission here is because which pricing strategy do I want them to be focused on?
Event-based?
Event-based pricing.
Double
Because what I
tap.
want to do is I want to weed out aspirational pricing at this moment, and I want to get into them thinking about event-based pricing or perceived market value. Because what's the number one objection in the chat that a seller is going to say for event-based pricing?
I don't want to
I
leave
don't
money
want to leave
on the table.
anything on the
Too
table.
low.
How do you guys all say the same thing like a bunch of AI robots? And you guys aren't even in the same markets. Because that's what every seller is going to say. Well, we don't want to overprice, but we don't want to leave any what? Money on the table. Totally. I understand. The third pricing strategy is what we call event-based pricing. And we use pricing because the list price is just the invitation to the party. So we want to use the list price as an invitation to actually as a negotiation advantage and create a buzz around the property. So we're going to price the home slightly below market value to create that frenzy. Because in this market, homes that are priced well do certain things, and homes that are priced at event-based pricing, right? They actually sell faster and for more money. Out of the three pricing strategies, what questions do you have around these specifically? And they're going to say what? Well, we want to get the home sold fast. We want to do this. We want to do that, but we don't want to what? Leave money on the table. Uh-oh, better call Mako. What do we do? Well, do you have any questions about that? Well, we definitely don't want to be aspirational, do we, honey? No. How come? Well, because we want to be in Nantucket and be, closer to our family that lives in Sheridan in the next 90 days. And we know that it's going to take time based off our conversation to get the home ready. Okay, cool. But we also don't want to what? Leave money on the table because it's expensive to buy homes there. Well, it's expensive too here, isn't it? Yeah, I guess you're right. It's kind of expensive everywhere. Would you agree? It is. Okay, now we're ceding costs. So we're getting rid of, because buyers are actually the real sellers because nobody's selling, right? Nobody, my parents have a huge house. They don't want to sell because they don't have a what? Place to go. So all sellers are buyers in disguise. So we have to help them here buy their next house. Do you guys follow that logic there? I don't have time to go through it because Cody's yelling at me in the chat that we don't have time. He basically telling me to shut up. Buyers are the real sellers. But they're not going to talk about selling if they're not sure about buying first. And if you can't help them buy, they don't sell. So now what do we do? Well, now we say, so out of the 3 strategies that we've discussed today, is there any one that you're maybe leaning a little bit more towards or against? Well, we're not really sure. We definitely don't want to leave money on the table. I like what you said about event-based pricing and how it's an invitation and, you know, and if you need an analogy, what's the analogy that you're going to give? What's a good analogy that you could give? In the chat, what's a good analogy you can give? If there's 2 cars on a car lot and they're identical, Cody, can you help me? If there's 2 cars on a car lot and they're identical, and one's listed for 50,000 and one's listed for 45,000, and as far as the eye can see, they're the same practical car, which one are you going to go look at first if you're buying a home? Well, the one that's at 45,000. How come? Well, it's cheaper. Right. So do you see how the mindset of how you would buy a car applies to buying a home? The difference is when you sell a home and there's a lot of buyers, because as you remember, when we talked about the buyer's universe, we currently have 77 identified buyers that we have in our short 1 hour of like looking around. Imagine what we can find on the market once we actually implement all of our strategies. We didn't talk about how to do that because we don't have the time today. Do you see how we could use price as an advantage instead of when you aspirationally price, it's a disadvantage? Now, for those of you guys who are like, Vic, that's not in the script. You're right, because the script is a structured framework that you learn. And once you learn, you massage it based off of what? Based off of the other conversations that you're having with the prospect. Is mom getting a massage right now? I got my mom a massage with my masseuse. This dude's like so intense. I'm like, why does my mom sound like she's getting beat up? I'm like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Dude does like acupuncture and like lights you on fire. It's pretty wild. Um, it's like a 3.5 hour massage for like $150. It's pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Bro, there's fire. I'm trying to figure out why it smells like incense in the house too. I'm like, what's burning? I thought it was a chicken. I checked on it. Nope. You guys stop getting me off a track here. Yes, I said fire, not the house is on fire. Just my mom's on fire. It's no big deal. She'll be fine. So should we put it all into a bow and tie it up and have some fun? So we
Let's do
picked
it.
the strategy. Now, can you guys see this or is this too small and blurry? Do I need to make this big? Just tell me.
It's good.
It looks good.
That's good.
Okay. So house was listed at 3.1 million in June of last year. It sold, it went pending after 2 price changes and it sold for 2.8 million. It had a 4.8% price decrease at 3.3 and then it sold for 1.7 less. So it sold for negative 9.8% of list price to sales price. In the chat, what pricing strategy is this? Why is it aspirational? Nobody thinks it's anything other than aspirational. Hey, people that are not in Triz, what do you think? Non-Trizzers, what do you think? Non-Trizzers, what do you think? Ooh, we got one
Aspirational.
person who says perceived. Let's talk about it. 10% off of list price. 2 price reductions. First price reduction came 21 days after. Second price reduction came 21 plus another 25, 45-ish days afterwards. Went pending 3 weeks after the second price reduction of almost, call it 9%. What are we? What are we? Will you open that door? What are we, everybody? Are we all aspirational? Okay, let's keep going on. Let's find out. Let's make sure. Got somebody else who thinks we're perceived too. Okay. Let's see what happens. Listed on 10/9/29/2021 for 2.8 million. Sold 5 days later for went pending 5 days later. Closed 33 days later for 3.17, 13.2% over list price. What kind of event? Event. Yes, Sandra. We had to go back to 2021 because I don't have access to the MLS. So, and I'm not trying to learn your guys' MLSs because I don't got time for that. So I just went to Zillow and found what was easy from homes that I've been part of at one point in my life. Some I have. So everybody here is on event. Okay, interesting. Let's see what happens. Let's keep going. Sold, listed 730, pending 8.5, closed 9.4, listed 297, 950, sold 296, 500, 0.5%, 0.5% less than the listing price. What is that? Okay, perceived. Keep coming. Non-trizzers. This is where you get to practice. Everybody, let's go. Okay. Somebody thinks this one's aspirational. I think somebody's got a little bit of confusion between aspirational and through perceived market value. We'll talk about this. One more. 7.3, 9.4. Can you go check the elevator, Dad? I don't know what they're asking for. 9.4, 9.24, listed at 1.8, sold for 1.79. What's the price on this? Okay, perceived. But wait, Cowboy Vic. Got to put the hat on for you guys. How can we always know? That's a damn good question, whoever asked that. I wonder. Here we go. Number one. Let me break this down for you all over here. Let me break this down for you guys. You're going to do a market analysis. Okay. And you're going to look at the overall market for the property. Okay. Now, when we're looking at the property, there's some things that we want to look for. We want to look for the average, right? Average days on market. Okay. Average days on market. We want to look at the average number of price reductions. We want to look at the final list price to sell price ratio. We want to see what the numbers here are, and then we compare them to our sample. So let's say the average days on market is 33. The average price reductions is 2, and the average list price to sales price. Now this is original list price. So what I like about these samples that I showed you guys a minute ago is that they showed us what? very easily, they showed the original listing price. And they also showed what? The pendings, the changes, the drops, and they showed the percentages. If I were you guys, I would go to your favorite number one enemy on the street, Zillow, and look up the comparable properties and cut that section out because it gives you a ton of information. I know you don't like the information because it comes from Zillow, but Zillow is a great data source and it's very easy to read. So let's say the original list price to sales price is 94. All right. So if that's our metric and we have a property that we're showing the client that's at 21 days, one right price reduction and a 98% list price to sales price. What do y'all think we did price wise? Aspirational, perceived, or event? This is tough now, isn't it? Not a lot of hands going up right now. What do you guys think this one is? 21 days versus 33. One price reduction, 98 versus 94. Bless you. Okay. Well, that's one sample. Okay. Let's say the second sample is 40. Let's say the second sample is 26 days, zero price reductions, 99% list price to sales price. What is that one? Ooh, perceived as well. Okay. Say we have the third property that's at 14 days, zero price reductions, and it sold for 101%. Where's that one at? Let's go with number 4. 7 days, zero price reductions, 105%. So let me tell you something. Number 1, 2, and 3 could all be what? See, you guys are trying to find aspirational, perceived, and event-based pricing in these because I gave you 3 samples. But what if they're all event-based? What if they're all perceived? What if they're all, right? Could they all 3 be one? Look at the sales price to list price, 98%, 99%, 101. If that's the average, right? If the average is 6% below, what does that mean some house is sold? What's the range? What's the range? A range means that they some sell lower, some sell higher. So what's the range give us here? Who's good at math? Perceived market value could be anywhere up to about 99%. So could 98, 99, and 101, because look at the list price to sales price. They did a 1% price reduction. They sold at 100%. So don't get caught up. You got to know your market. Now, let's say you have, so this one sold for 105. Here's the other thing is, if you don't know your market dynamics and pricing, then you're guessing right now. Because what you need is the full data. Because these are all very close, are they not? Are these all super close to one another, y'all? And that's the fun. Is that some markets you can be very close to list price to sales price. But you got to look at what you got to look at the days on market, price reductions, and list price to sold price. You got to look at it all. And then you got to see what the top of the market's doing and the bottom of that market. You got to know the whole dynamic of the market. You can't just look at one and say, well, this is what this is. And so we need to look at more data in order to make sure that we have all the information. Did that go over some of our heads? That go over some of our heads? Does that, for you non-trizzers, that's a lot. This is the time to ask. Okay. Thank you, Pooja, for being real. Let's go back. Okay. So let's go back and actually let's look at some more numbers. Because I knew that some of us were going to be like, hey, this is the first time I've seen it, and this is a little confusing. So I knew that we needed to have a couple more numbers. Just know my peeps. Listed for 2.59, 1120. Okay, so this is an interesting one. It went pending sale at 1120 for 2.5. It then had a listed for sale 1222 for 2.5. It then went pending 7 days later, 2.5, sold to 3 for 2.3. It went on the market. It came off the market, right? It went pending. It came off the market. They relisted it. It went pending. It closed. It closed for negative 10.8%. What's the price strategy that these people took? I'm going to ask you all to slow down. Here's the better question you should ask. Well, Vic, I don't know. Why don't you know? What are you missing out on? Do you see the data you guys are missing out on? We don't know the market. So let's make some assumptions here. We need market data. Good job. So let's make some assumptions here. Let's say that this is a market where homes sell in the first 7 days, and they sell for 97% of list price to sales price. No price reductions. Now, where are we at on this home? Aspirational. Okay. So we always have to make an assumption if we're just playing the game, because that'll make it make more sense. Because now you're seeing a full picture, so you can explain a full picture to the prospect. 116 listed for sale. 217 price changed by 3.6%. 311 went pending. 41 closed. Let's assume this market is the same as the last market. We're off by a total of how much percent from list price to sales price? What are we off by? List price to sales price. Seller compensation means nothing. Those are terms of the agreement. And everybody has seller compensation, so it doesn't matter. What pricing strategy did they implement here? Somebody unmute and tell me why it's perceived, not aspirational. And somebody tell me why it's aspirational, not perceived. First, we'll go with perceived. Diane?
Yeah, okay. So I'd say perceived because it's falling in the tight range of the 94, 98% below list price or whatever. percentage of list price, whereas based on the market data that you shared, it seems like it's a perceived market.
Some of these are really close, aren't they, you guys? Some of these could be really close based off of what the market data is. Let's get one for aspirational. Dennis, why aspirational?
I'd say because of the length of time, the days on market versus I would ignore the percentage.
Could you guys both be right?
Yes.
Because what are we trying to show the seller here?
Pricing strategy.
Pricing strategy. So when it's super tight like these ones, right? Could you both be right? Yeah, because what's the most important thing? Nailing every perfect thing without perfect data, or having what?
Conversation.
Conversations that prices matter. Because remember, the list price is what?
An invitation.
Invitation.
It's an invitation. Good job. Good job. The list price is just the invitation to the party. And so when we get the list price down, it works well. Again, this one's really easy. Price change, price change, price change, pending, 2.28, sold at 1.8. 5, 13, 2, 7, right? So this one's off by like 20%. What's this one? What's this one? Y'all, this is where the money comes in. All those overpriced listings that you guys spend tons and tons of energy on trying to keep alive, right? It's because we don't have these conversations here. When we have these conversations, right? Aspirational, everything shifts. Aspirational, everything shifts, right? So we want to have those conversations. This one too. Aspirational. Now this is $26 million. Okay. Actually, let's look at this one. If you guys take homes that are priced at the top of your market, could this be potentially a perceived market value, even though it has a 25% difference in price? Listed at 26 million, sold at 21 million. Could this be potentially a perceived market value?
Yes.
Look at the listing dates.
No.
Only 1 month. Look at the dates again, y'all. Look at the year. What year was it listed first? 2022.
Right.
Y'all, your attention to detail is so freaking critically important. Y'all think that those plants weren't like, I want you to know there's 3 tables behind there that you guys can't see. Attention to detail is why people list more expensive homes and why people don't. You want to get into that top tier. Let me tell you, your prospect thinks differently, does differently. They see things differently. Remember going back 3 hours ago. Remember going back 3 hours ago, right? You guys are troopers that are here. Remember going back 3 hours ago. Yellow, gold, blue. I don't even know the colors. Purple, Yanni, Laurel, gorillas, white shirts, gray shirts, catching, not catching. Go back through. You guys remember that. We missed 2022 versus 2024. Why? Because I had you guys focusing on what? The 25%. Look at the front date, 4/1, 8/3, 3/22. That doesn't even make sense. How could, right? How could we have a price reduction in March when we listed it in April? It took me a second to get it too. I'm like, wait, hold on. We had a price reduction in August, and then we had another price reduction April 25th, and then we sold. What the hell? And then I looked at the dates and I'm like, oh yeah, slow down. Right? That was a quick look. Imagine how many times we do that in our world. Don't justify it, y'all. Just remember, it's okay. We all do it. I did it too. So I'm going to go that this house is aspirationally priced because of the time on market, not because of the price. When you sell in that price point, a lot of homes, when you sell at the top of a market, a lot of times homes have a 15 to 20% difference. Why? There's no comps for these homes. Custom home built on the water, big land, very usable, double dock, right? Very normal to have that. Now let's look at this house. Listed at 1.4, sold for 1.53, 10% over list price. What's that one? %100% event-based pricing because you're 110% of the list price to sold price. Everybody see that? Is that you guys, I told you I wanted to go deep with you on pricing. You should never take overpriced listings. I will tell you, we take pricing, we take aspirationally priced houses, right? We take aspirationally priced houses for other reasons around marketing, around this, around that, getting our name out there. There's reasons you might take an aspirationally priced home, but make sure when you guys work your listing agreements, you are working it accordingly. If you put money into it and you know you're 20%, 10, 15% off, make sure that that money you put in, you get back. Manny, the 408 is because it sold in 2021 for 900,000 or something, 700,000. The last time it sold, that's the difference in price. Good question. Now this one's tough. Sold for 7% less. Price change, went pending 3 days later, and then it sold for 1.4 off. So aspirational on the front end, perceived market value, sold. So if this house was listed for, 2.9 originally, it might have even sold for 3.1. Very easily could have sold, but they worked very fast. Look, they were on the market for how many days before the price reduction? 3 weeks. When you guys pull all this data and show them, do you think you're not building a calendar of what to do if the home doesn't sell? Do you think that you don't build in your price reductions into the calendar? Is this helpful? Are you going to implement this? You have to practice this, please, though. Like, you guys can't show up on a Zoom call and wing it a little bit like I did with the technology, right? Like the slides, we had our editor change them last minute. I'm telling you, you can't wing it like I can and stay cool, calm, and collected and not get frazzled. How many presentations have I done in the last 6 months? How many Zoom calls do I do per day on average? You will get crushed and you will feel anxiety. I just laugh about it. I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. I've been doing presentations since 17 years old selling Cutco knives. You will get crushed if you don't practice this. I don't want you to be perfect at it though. I just need you to practice it every day. I need you to practice your presentation skills every day. Okay. So if you don't practice your presentation skills every day, what's going to happen?
You're not going to win. You're not going to win.
You won't be
Not going to
prepared.
win. You got to practice talking and writing. You got to practice writing upside down. You got to practice writing, flipping it over, writing, bringing it back. You got to practice the structured frameworks. You have to practice this, y'all. Like, my Pops is here. Hey, Pops. Do you remember when I started selling Cutco? How often did I call you to practice? Like, how often did I practice with you when I was brand new? My mom's yelling from across the house. Daily. Daily. I practice with them daily. It got so bad, they used to know the script parts better than I did because I'd get tired and I'd forget. I actually smoked a lot of weed and I forget. I drink a lot too. 17-year-old making a ton of money. Like, what else are you going to do in Bakersfield, right? I practice every single day. Even today, my parents are in town. We did a bunch of stuff this morning. I was up at 5 o'clock practicing. Why do I share that with you? You think Sharon, who knows my buddy Sharon? Y'all think Sharon practices his presentations or he just gets on stage and wings it? He did 64 keynotes in the last quarter. 64 keynotes. He made 64 separate keynotes in one quarter. Every single one of them was 1 hour to 2 hours long.
He just did a
Every single one of them had different content.
He just did a presentation. We were chatting about this the other day. Literally today, he did a presentation. He scripted word for word for word with Hormozy and like, obviously, if you don't know, like, Sharon's now the president of acquisition.com. He scripted word for word, him, Alex, and Layla. Every single word was scripted. They did $12 million in sales in one 1 hour webinar.
Wow.
Because they scripted every single word.
And they
Pretty crazy.
practiced their faces off. Cody's got insider information that I'm not privy to. Some of you have been here in this industry for 3 years now, and you say, I'm new. You're not new. You're just lazy. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't care. This industry will eat you alive. I've been in 7 industries. I've owned 8. This is our 8th business, what me and Cody are doing. Cody will tell you I practice more than anybody on our sales team. Why? I don't want to lose and I don't want to let you down. Hi, Aldo. Aldo will tell you. If you don't have self-mastery, you will not be good at sales. Straight up, hands down. If you are more concerned about your time than you are about getting better, you will always be mediocre and you will spend a lot more time trying than you would if you just studied every day. It's your choice. You're going to spend the time either at a doctor's office or you're going to spend the time taking care of yourself now. You're going to spend the time. Where do you want to put the time at? It's up to you. I want you guys to make a shit ton of fucking money. You have to want it too, though. Because this is a hard industry. And I can promise you it's only going to get harder. And so if you want some help, if you guys like it, can I get a clap? my ego. If you guys were done, but we have time for Q&A. Cody, we have time for Q&A. Cody never thought he would ever hear that out of my mouth. Cody, we have time for Q&A. So you guys actually have time for Q&A. Now clap if you guys liked it. If you don't, that's okay. We'll send you guys out the link for the survey.
That's all, folks.
That's all I got for you guys.
Classic.
You guys want to book a game plan session if you're not with Triz, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. The money that you spend with us is definitely not better spent on your own, but you should not book a call with us.
Should
I'm just
go buy
saying.
some leads.
You should go buy some leads. we should definitely not buy leads. What questions you guys have for me specifically? We got 26 minutes. There was a question up top from Elizabeth about I brought them 2 good offers and they didn't accept them. Was there overpriced and I've already brought them 2 good offers which they rejected?
Yeah, I'm thinking about firing them.
Oh, hold the front door.
They're stubborn.
No. Please do not fire. Where are you at, Elizabeth?
Where am I at? I'm right here. I just got home.
Okay. Let's pause here for a second. I've brought them 2 good offers, which they've rejected. Are they good offers?
I think they're good offers.
Pause. What did she say, everybody?
She said,
I
He thought they were good.
I think they're good offers. What do they think?
they're
Not
not.
you, Elizabeth. What do they think?
They think it's not high enough.
They don't think it's a good offer.
They don't think it's a good offer.
Camila, are you leaving us right now? Oh, don't leave us, Camila. We're so sad. She's coming to the computer to say goodbye. They don't think they're good offers.
No, they don't think they're good offers
How do you know?
because they yelled about it and said it.
They rejected 2 offers.
Yeah.
This all goes back to the what conversation?
It goes back to the initial conversation that I tried to have with them when I first learned it, and I felt like I explained it correctly.
It's okay.
But I probably didn't. I don't
You
know.
probably didn't.
But
And
they were set on netting a certain amount of money, and that
Of course
was
they were.
that.
Of course, is every seller set on netting a certain dollar amount?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Diane, you said that you just had a conversation with somebody the other day where you got them to see that what they wanted to get and what they were going to get was different and they still took the listing, correct? Or was that somebody else?
It might have been somebody else. I already have the listing and we had the hard conversation of needing
Ooh,
to
what happened? Talk to us
price
about it.
adjust. Yeah, I mean, like you say, you start somewhere, you have the conversation, you pull data, you do what you think makes sense, and then things shift and things happen. So we had to respond quickly in order to stay in front of, the market. But I just, you just explain what's going on. And I think as long as you've prepared them a bit on the front end for what could possibly happen and help them understand the metrics that you're going to look at to help drive a decision when that decision needs to be made, it's a little bit easier for them to accept the reality and say, well, we got to shift this. I mean, they're not going to net what they'd hoped to net. It's just not going to happen, but they also have to sell and they don't really have a choice. So
Well, it's this wonky thing too. They are purchasing in another area that I could have helped them with, but they said no, they've got somebody else to help them with that. And I thought about not taking it, but I wanted the listing, you know, and it needs a lot of work. And
How far off percentage wise are you from the offer in hand and where they want to be?
percentage wise, probably about maybe 30.
I don't want probably. I want to know exactly what it is.
No.
You guys, do you guys see the difference between winning and losing? I don't want to know a possible percentage. I want to know, we got an offer at 100,000, at 70,000. The price is listed at 100. We're off by 30%.
We listed it at 420 and they yelled about that because they wanted 450.
I don't care about the yelling. I just need facts. I need facts.
I brought him an offer for 380 and then 390.
No, I need percentages. I need, you guys see how I don't take BS answers? I need percentages. I'm not going to do your work for you. You guys need to know your own percentages. I'm not here to do your job for you. I'm here to teach you. What's the percentage?
30%. I don't know. I'm not good at math.
Then you shouldn't be in real estate talking to people's money.
Yeah.
You get a calculator out and do the math. No, Aldo, do not help. You guys want people to give you top dollar. You want to fire somebody who gave you an opportunity, but you don't even have, for weeks at a time, we don't even have the basic numbers. And I'm being tough on you, not because I don't love you. It's because I love you more than anybody else. And I'm being tough because I care, because I don't want you to throw a $12,000 commission down the drain. $400,000 times 3% is 12 grand. And when listings are hard to come by and none of them are selling as fast as they used to, we are not throwing money away, people. I will stop and pick up a 1 peso coin on the street. That's worth 25 cents. I do not sugarcoat shit. So
I hear you.
to know, you've had now 3 minutes that other people want questions of to get me that percentage.
Okay.
Let's go, y'all. I'm being tough because I just spent 4 hours with you guys. And if we're not tough, we don't help people. We fire people. And I've seen so many agents work so hard to get listings. And then we fire the person because we don't have the tough conversations, because we don't have the data. And because we don't have the data, we just run from the opportunity at hand instead of having that difficult conversation. And so what we have to do is we always have to go back and reset the conversation with our people. Diana's reset the conversation. Hey guys, let's do this. And if they yell at you, you got to step into your masculine and hold that frame. You can't let people yell at you, right? And if they did yell at you, then like, was it yelled or they were aggressive? Those are two different things. I'm yelling because it's important, but it's two different things. So when you guys have a listing that's not selling, you got to know percentages. You got to go market. You got to know everything. And you got to do what I did with you guys. You have to pull all that data and you got to go sit down with them. And we have to have a way to open the conversation. We have to have a trust-based opener again, right? Because we're re-strategizing at this point, which means we are actually basically going in for a new conversation. And so the way we're going to open this up is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Yeah. Hey, I know you guys aren't extremely thrilled about the market. Is it cool if we sit back down to re-strategize about the market dynamics and the market conditions to make sure that we're all in alignment to help you get to your goal of moving to blah, 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 blah? Or has something shifted and that's no longer important? No, it's still important. Got it. Right? So they're off by 9.3%. You didn't bring them an offer, the market brought them an offer. Everybody write that down. The market brings offers, you don't. Why? Because you are removing yourself from the process. When you remove yourself from the process, it's the market conditions. So what the market has said is that based off of where you're at right now, your home's value is somewhere around the 380, 390 range. Well, that's not acceptable. That's fine. And you don't need to sell and you don't need to move to blah, blah, blah to be close to blah, 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 blah. Overarching goal never dies. You always have. How often do we remind our people of overarching goals? Every time we talk to them. Every day. All day long. Why? Because they are comfortable being uncomfortable. They are comfortable in their house right now. If you want people to make a move, do you talk about pain or pleasure? You have to see the pain with the pleasure. You need both. The pain is what they're in right now. The pleasure is future pacing to where they want to be. Is this landing for you guys? The reason why we lose so many opportunities is because we want to be nice and liked instead of being necessary and truthful. And I know nobody here is going to like actively be lying to anybody. I know nobody's lying to anybody. I don't believe there's anybody who's false. But it's very easy to not have the hard conversation, which is what we know we should be having. And if we're not having the truthful conversation, couldn't that be a variation of telling a lie? Maybe. Possibly. So we have to reframe our thinking. You have to reopen the conversation and you have to almost feel like you're starting from scratch. When you say, I told them something, if I tell you guys something without tying it down and making it your thought versus my thought, it's just my thought. And then you don't do it. You have to help people make it their thoughts, right? Little tie down question. It's so important that you get them to tie down and believe in you. Or not believe in you, but believe in what you're saying as their truth, and then help them make a decision about what they want to do. If Elizabeth, they want to take the home off the market, my friend, then let them. And that's fine. They don't have to pay a buyer agent commission. And you guys should counter that back in writing. Hey, based off of it's all framing, you guys. Based off of the terms of your agreement, my clients have accepted your offer with these amendments. They refuse to pay a buyer agent commit. They will not pay a buyer agent commission at this price. Here is our accepted counter offer, or we could do this, and you give them options. Give them the option to pay a percentage, or you talk to the other agent, say, hey, if my clients paid 4,000 out of the 12, would you take it? You guys have to be problem solvers.
Yeah, I did that. Tried to get around and divide, split it and they said, no, we're not paying anything for a buyer's agent.
Perfect. How much are they paying you?
3%.
Perfect. You're going to fire this person instead of splitting the commission 1.5 with the other buyer. Would anybody here take $6,000 versus anybody here refuse $6,000, Cody? Cody,
No,
up.
like I'm not gonna like. This is one of the problems like that happens a lot, and I see this like when I, especially with like the teams that we work with, is like the problem that I see oftentimes is people are like, well, we don't discount our commission. But, you know, if you're going to get this thing over the finish line, why not just take the $6,000 and call it a day? Like I
Well,
would
I
take the
didn't think
6,000.
about that.
Glad we're here.
That's what I would take if they're not going to budge and we can't negotiate, I'm going to take the 6K all day. I'm not going to listen to the people in the forums that are saying, don't discount your commission. Let the
People are morons.
Take the $6,000 because then you can reinvest the $6,000 back into your business.
Okay.
My first year in real estate, I did $297,000 or something in commission. There's a lot of 1% in there. Why? Because I sucked at negotiating for myself. Why? Because it was hard, because I was dealing with Indians that were tough, that were good.
Yeah, I really don't want people to walk away from deals, especially in this market. You know, again, we want to up level our skills. That's why we show up to practice sessions. Like Elizabeth, you're writing out your listing presentation. You're doing all of the right things. I saw you post the other day inside of school. Like you're working at, like you're like, I have carpal tunnel because like I'm writing out my listing presentation.
You're
You know,
doing all the work, my friend.
you're doing all the work, and I don't want you to lose out on 6K. I really, really don't like maybe you even go back and you renegotiate. You take 2%, the buyer agent takes 1%. You know, hey, we get this thing over the finish line. This is how we do
Just
it.
ask me, Elizabeth. Like this is what we did so well. Like I'm not mad at you. I acknowledge how hard you work. Right? Like everybody, like you have no idea how much effort this lady puts in. Like she deserves like an extra hand because she's writing her shit out every day. Like she is crushing it. That's why it hurts me. Right? I get emotionally charged when I see and hear people doing things that are going to hurt their finances because that one deal, right? That's a month and a half of living expenses for some of us. Right? That's 2 months of living expenses. That's 1 month of living expenses. And we get on these forums.
Yes, and you're right, and I appreciate you yelling at me.
You're welcome. I'm always here for
But
a good yell.
but I think that I felt like the day that I learned that or listened to that video and watched you guys kind of talk about it, that's the next day is when I went in and I did that. So I knew I didn't know what I was doing, but
No, you did the right thing. You implemented,
they
dear.
said they understood what I was saying, so I
Yeah.
was just okay.
And we go back and we go back and we do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? I remember one time Aldo said to me, I remember Dennis, I don't apologize for being real. I remember one time Aldo said, he's like, hey Vic, but we already covered that 20 minutes ago. And I said, I know, but she forgot. He's like, how do you know? I was like, because it's painful and you don't want to remember that. And he goes, oh, that was like, it was a light bulb moment, right? Because, and this was like a year ago, maybe even longer. I don't even think you remember the conversation. It's like when I first met Aldo and started working with him. And I said, she forgot the pain. He's like, how do you know? I was like, because she went back into like limiting beliefs. And so I brought that pain right back up for her. And it clicked. And then I brought it up again. And then I brought it up again. And I'll bring it up multiple times in a 45-minute session with somebody. Y'all have been through a call with me. You know they're not fun, but they're necessary.
I think
Right?
the really important thing, and like, you know, Elizabeth, thank you for sharing, because I think that a lot of us get ourselves into like listings or, you know, problems with buyers. And like, you know, many of you have heard me say before, run to us, not from us. You probably heard me say that once or twice. And the reason we say that is because like, you know, if you're losing out on you know, Elizabeth's not the only one. There are other people that in the crowd of 58 that are still left with us. There are people
There's a lot of people.
there's some of you that are suffering in silence. There's some of you that are, like you have a deal that's gone potentially bad, but you haven't reached out and asked inside of school, and you haven't given us the specifics where, again, like we could, like, if Elizabeth makes the decision tonight that she's going to take the 1.5 or 2%, she just collected $8,000 that she wouldn't have had before. And she now she's more comfortable and more confident on the next listing because now her ends meet are covered. So like this is the power of like asking questions in the context of not a free Facebook group, but in the context of like an actual community that has your best interest in mind. Like, like we're going to tell you, hey, like take the commission
Always take the commission
while you're working on your skill.
Here's what I would tell you guys too, and I'm probably the only person that would ever say it. Elizabeth, take one, give two. If that's what you would, and the reason why I say that is because we were told to fire the client instead of finding a way, like, hey, Mr.
Yeah.
and Mrs. Seller, what if we did this? I want to see you guys get to Nantucket. I want to see you guys in your new home. I want to see you guys happy. And I get it. This house needs a ton of work, right? I get it. This house doesn't get what we're getting right now. I want to be your partner, even though you're not utilizing me for the next home. I want to be your partner because that's what we signed up for. When you hired me as a partner, not just as an agent. And so if we can get creative to find a way to get this 390 maybe up a little bit, maybe figure out a way to work the compensation. We don't talk commission, we talk compensation. Okay? Everybody get rid of that shitty word. Nobody likes paying a commission. Everybody likes paying a fair compensation. If there's a way that we can figure out the compensation, possibly get them up a little bit, you guys kind of, work. If I can massage this deal to keep it alive, are you open to looking at alternatives other than the 420 that you wanted? Yes. Now get to work.
Yeah.
Talk to the other agent, right?
And we got solution focused.
And we got to sell the other agent too.
It's the mindset. It's the shift of like becoming solution focused, where it's like, if you can like say, okay, it's not just about the offer, it's about me working with the other party in order to kind of bring this to fruition, in order to bring this over the finish line. Like it'll change every deal you go into.
So then would I write up a agreement, a seller's, what is it called?
That's all those technical questions as a broker question.
Okay.
So how to legally structure it, you guys, my job here is to help you get it over the finish line. Dennis, what's up, brother? Elizabeth, was that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You helped like 30 people in this room, FYI. You should feel very good.
All right, so I just got a message from an agent. We're supposed to close on Thursday. My seller was signing in their docs tomorrow. And apparently the buyer wife changed job, although it's in the same field, and now they're not granting the mortgage. So they have to go back and look for a new lender. Financing period has passed. They have literally squeezed this seller out of everything and drop in price and give him back extra money, all this stuff. And now he's moved out, potentially going to a hotel because he can get his lease. So now they just asked to extend the closing date so that they can switch sellers. But I feel like I need to go back and ask for some extra money because I know the house overappraised, and put some money back in my seller's pocket because he's put everything in storage. And they didn't go with the roofer that he wanted, so then that he had lined up for them. So he had to now pay extra money to cancel a permit so we can close. And he's given them
How
now
much?
the price.
How much? And what's the purchase
he
price?
gave a credit of 13,500 and another 2,500 plus the permit was, let's just say, $900.
So what's the total?
Total you're looking at probably 16 grand.
And what's the sales price?
It was supposed to be 455.
What's the
And
percentage?
it's about percentage from what, the list price or from?
Yeah.
It was actually a 10% down from what the original price was.
No, what's the repair? What's the repairs? So 16,500 on whatever the purchase price is. Percentages matter, you guys, when it comes to these things.
Oh, sorry, hold on one sec. It's about a 3% difference of what we were originally under contract for.
So 3%.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the cost to your seller?
Cost on what?
How much is it going to cost? So technically yeah, we could talk about this. But technically his financing contingency is gone, right?
Yeah, so so the buyer could be out of 10K. So if I go and ask them back for $3,000.
So here's what I do. Here's what I do. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we don't mind doing blah, 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 blah. We need you to release the earnest money to us as a non-refundable deposit we just need you to release the earnest money. You're going to have to talk to your broker to word that. Release the earnest money. It's now yours. It's to your seller. We'll give you the X amount of days. But we're going to charge you per diem for what it's costing us to be for us to extend this because, unfortunately life happens and we're not mad at you guys and we want to make this work. But it's a per diem day, so if it's costing you $100 per day, then it's per diem $100 per day until you close. Plus we're keeping the 10 grand already because the 10 grand's already yours. I would not return the 10K. Because if the house doesn't close, yeah, so just have that released already, and then just don't say we're not gonna charge you extra, and I would talk to the agent like, man, you kind of raked me over the coals, so we're not gonna charge you extra, like we're not gonna renegotiate price, but I don't feel that it's fair for my client to eat it in the shorts for $3,000 if it's gone a month, on top of the 16,500 that they already had to cover to get the home done. So this should hopefully encourage your clients to speed up on the close as well.
Okay.
You could go back and ask for a percentage, you could go back and ask for 3,000, right?
Mhm.
But you might botch the deal at that point and they might walk. Probably wouldn't because there's 10 grand on the table. So I would just ask
Right.
for the per diem personally, but that's what I would have done. But you got to talk to your seller and talk to them and
Yeah.
see what they want.
So Dennis, I'm just curious. I think you said that.
Guys, I got to roll. I
Oh,
got family
well.
here and we've been going 4 hours strong. I got to roll, you guys. I appreciate you all for being here. If anybody wants to book a game plan session to learn more about the community, what we're doing, how we're helping and yelling at folks nonstop, 24 hours a day, booking a call to the left. As you guys could tell, we're very passionate about what we do. I'm so proud of you guys. Give your guys yourselves a big round of applause for
4
crushing
hours.
out.
Great
Yeah.
work, guys. 4 hours, hardly any breaks. Put in the work today.
What's a break? There are no
Thanks,
breaks
guys.
when it comes to real estate.
See you guys. Have a great rest of your night.
Bye.
We'll see
Thank
y'all
you.
soon.
Cheers, y'all.